No worries.
Okay, so the Google Colab should be good enough for our courses, right?
Yes, yes. For the course, if you don't want start playing with different packages and download VS Code, and you'll think you'll fall behind because you want to get used to it. I usually tell everyone to start with Google Colab. I give instructions how to set up Google Colab in that area. It's in the bottom parts. It's really simple, really easy. You don't have to worry about having all the different requirements and packages on your computer. And you just simply just log in with your Gmail, and you're good to start.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah. So I don't do the first two steps, then I can directly jump to the third step, Google
Yes.
Colab integration, right?
Yeah, yeah. That way, since your first time, definitely you don't want to complicate yourself with VS Code. VS Code may seem very complicated in the first time you use it because it's very developer focused. So
If one of you want to try sharing the screen and trying Google Colab, or if you guys want to show the local environment so that others also can benefit out of it, feel free to do that. If there are any questions, Luis can definitely try to resolve them right now. And
No, that's good. Thank you so much. I can try. Let's see.
okay.
Let me know whether you can see.
Yep, we are able to see your screen.
Okay, so right now, so I kind of logged in this one. I just created this new notebook, Jelly course, something like that. And then next step is Gemini API key, right? Is that the one?
so you see get API key button on the bottom, and then click create. You may not want to share your screen for this part. Copy. Copy.
You should not be showing your API keys to everyone.
Wait, we might want to delete that and then make a new one afterwards. So then, yeah, you just go to Google Colab back there. Look for the key.
There's a key icon left, down, left, down. Yes. Add new secret.
And you should name it that exact name I have in the file because all the things in the code are usually enabled around that.
Okay.
And then you enable it. So you see that X button on the left side, which is notebook access on your key. Go down. Oh no, on the left side. Do you see that? See, there's an X. You toggle that on to make sure you enable it so it turns on for your notebook.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Next is you just download the Git repository.
So how to change the API key, as you mentioned, like, so because this lesson is recording, so the API key is.
Yeah, so yeah, you just simply go back to the Google site, delete it, and just click create API key again.
Oh, I can delete here like this.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can I do that quickly? So, thank you so much for educating on this. So now, like, where is that button to create?
You have to stop sharing and create new. If not, you have to delete it again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. Okay, no, first I need to know like where to click for getting that. Earlier we used to have that key, right? So where should I?
It's another tab, Vijay.
Okay, so
Which one is?
Interesting. This is the only tab.
Get API, it's a fourth tab on your browser.
Okay, here. Right?
Yeah, yes.
Louis, I had a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So I did do all the things you mentioned. The only thing was when I tried to verify the cloned files in the Colab after cloning the repository in my drive, it's saying that I cannot access the Gen AI intro.
Let's see if you're. Are you able to, example, like if you're, are you able to let's view it? If you were to just click on the link. Let's see.
Just give me a second. I'll try it out. Okay. I think I copied the thing wrong. My bad.
Yeah, no worries, it should be that one.
Okay.
Okay, I did it now. And then quick access.
So next after this, you need to get the git clone of the file. So you already did all that part.
Save, is there any save here? All right.
Once you have that in there, it's automatically going to be saved to your environment, so you're good.
Okay. Yeah, so can you please explain what I need to do next?
Do you have a Mac or is it a Windows?
Windows.
Okay, so because you're using Google Colab, you're gonna go scroll down to option 2 on that page.
So,
It says option 2 Google Colab setup.
okay.
Just put new notebook and drive. Just paste. And let's play. Just click the run button. Sorry, you need to use the term. I'm not sure if you have terminal because it's the free version. If you had a terminal, there are paid versions of this. If you, I don't think you have terminal, sorry, go to method 2 on that Google Colab setup on the sheet.
I'm sorry.
If you go back to the setup sheet, sorry. If you go back to the instructions, it's in the PDF that you have in the bottom.
I'm just,
Yeah, unless you have on a separate screen.
yeah, it is on.
Yeah. You see the PDF, VJ, or
Yes.
okay.
This is the
Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. So the method one on Google Colabs, if you have terminal command, if you see there, but you don't have terminal command, so we'll just do opt method two.
yeah. This is the one we did, right? Method 2 we need to do. Okay. Okay. Moment in your Google Drive. So I need to put here, right? Not sure. Do we need to create separate folder and give access only to that, or?
Well, it's Google, so the Google has access to everything you have anyway. So and then you follow step two. And open a new cell. So you just go to the middle. Just go to the middle underneath that bar. We go back to the top where you see that cell underneath it, around the middle. It'll click on something called cell/code. So just scroll down to the middle. Oh, sorry. Like you'll have to open a new cell.
Sorry.
There you go, it's right there. Oh, you passed it.
Okay. Okay.
And the code. You have to click run. Okay. So if you click on the left side of your files, like you see a folder, you'll see your drive. So if you click on that, my drive, we're mounted in your Google Drive. So that means it's showing that we have everything in there. And then on the new code, you'll make another one as well. And then now you copy that. So we have some stop check now. Sometimes Google Colab changes sometimes how they import Git. So just one sec.
Oh, this one changed to. Do I need to rename again? I think I named it before, but okay, went back.
I think there's a terminal button actually. Let's see. If you click on terminal, no, you need pro access. Let's see here.
So this is all now done. I mean, this.
No, you still need to do the git clone. Yeah, so what happened is you see that when you copied it and there's a backslash that happens, they either change that to TTPS.
Oh. Interesting. So I can delete this code, right? And then add a new code.
You just have to fix that line. Just delete that backslash and just put TT. Yeah, and it should work.
Oh,
Okay, when it's done, now we can go back to the last line of code. And then it says we can put the last line in there to verify if all the contents were cloned properly. Yeah, okay. So we have all those things in there. So what you can do now is check on your left side. You can refresh that file area that you have in there. So there's a refresh button that's like on top of it. There we go. Okay. And I think if you go to My Drive now, you can look for GenAI Intro as a folder. There it is. That's the last one. So then you have it saved in your file and you have access to all the folders and collabs. So when you have it, you click on the LM Foundation's Google Colab because there's one specifically for Google Colabs, and then all the different things we'll be going through.
I had a quick question. In the library names to be installed, one of them is like a LangChain and LangChain hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like separate library or?
Let's see. Just let me pull this up. They should be they're separate. There should be separate libraries.
Okay, sir.
Just the LangChain hyphen alone is put there.
I think we don't need that hyphen.
Yeah, that looks like when it was copied over, the
Oh, I see.
extra hyphens are added. So to make sure you don't add those hyphens.
Just for the LangChain alone.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just the LangChain is repeated then. Makes
Yeah.
sense. But there is a OpenAI in a separate line, and then OpenAI LangChain hyphen is another line.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Did it.
Fix that for you guys. One sec.
Louis, I did this install the libraries little bit. I felt like there were spelling mistakes in the requisite document, so I did this. I posted in the chat.
There should be pandas. Install OpenAI. Install LangChain OpenAI OpenAI. LangChain. Google Gen AI. Yep. Yeah, because it looks like the ones that have hyphens are all supposed to be connected. Like that LangChain, OpenAI should all be one together. So that's right.
Oh, it's a LangChain hyphen OpenAI,
Yeah,
LangChain hyphen Google Gen AI. I see.
yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. You just cut the line. Yeah.
yeah. Looks like the lines were cut off in that document. I'll double check those.
Okay. Thank you.
LangChain Chroma, LangChain Community, and Langsmith. Okay, perfect. So
Hi
moving
guys.
with
I had a question. So I'm trying to do the option 2 as well. And when I do the method 2, mount Google Drive, it's actually asking me if, choose an account to continue to Google Drive for desktop.
yeah, it should connect to the Gmail account that you have that you signed
Okay.
in. Yeah. If you're really paranoid, you could do is you can set up a fake Gmail or like a dummy Gmail, and then you can use that to sign in.
So what is it going to do with the Google Drive, like giving access to the Google Drive?
Yeah, because what you want to do is install your files, and you're doing a git clone to your Google Drive, so you don't have to every single time download the files and then open it and then do that part. When you have it already mounted in your Google Drive, you just mount your Google Drive again and just use the files from there.
Okay. So it's asking me select what Google Drive for desktop can access. Do we just select
Yeah, like I said, if it wasn't Google, like then I would be like be careful, but Google has access to everything you have anyway. So it's Google, just Google saying, are you like just letting you know that Google will access your Google Drive.
Hmm.
All right, so there was a lot of things we talked about. So so during the office hours, I know that today was a little bit more about getting set up and getting things done. But the purpose of the office hour was if there's anything that was talked about on last Saturday that you wanted a little bit get more deeper into detail. There's a function you really want to get better to know, or if you have any random question about AI in general, like this is the forum to ask. When some people actually bring like work problems sometimes, some people try to just have like random questions about, hey, I heard about this in the news. What's this about? Doesn't directly have to deal with the class itself, but of course I'll have to answer the questions about the class first off, and those are the top questions I have to answer first, then I'll get to the other questions itself. So feel free to have that chat conversation open, and that's the purpose of the office hour. Again, it's for you to really dig deeper into your knowledge and go from there. If any questions about the course in general, just please let me know.
I had a question.
Yes.
So you said that we had to like brainstorm on what kind of capstone projects we wanted to do, right? Where can we find like sources to start off and look for the projects? Like I know there are many on YouTube, people have done a lot of them. I wanted to do something impactful that usually you won't find on the internet. Something like a very specific problem. I'm not working it, but I'd like to do something with that. Where can I find ideas for that?
So, okay, so do you have an idea what it is? Um,
What kind of project do I want to do?
yeah. Do you have an
Anything
idea?
related to improving the marketing or something related to that domain? Marketing data, something to improve the process of that uh, industry.
Okay. So what we can do today is a quick demo of AI Studio. So you should have access to AI Studio, everyone. As you saw, this is going to be very Google-centric. It's a Google-centric course simply because Google is offering free APIs and gives a free able to give free studios and trying things out as well. And it's really great in terms of understanding and be able to deploy and learn a little bit more about what AI is without spending money and having huge API costs. So in AI Studio, which is simply goes aistudio.google.com, if here you would have gotten your API key as well. But here's where you can ask any type of questions, and you don't have to worry about paying like a monthly fee, like to OpenAI or Anthropic. And you were able to ask multiple questions as well. So on this right side, you'll see there's different models you can choose to interact with. Right now, currently the strongest model that Google has is Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview. They'll show you some cost, but that's only if you're using the API, right? Because we're not using the API, we're using directly in their studio. There is no cost. So how you can use this is also to brainstorm your ideas for your capstone projects. As you can see, generate Python code for simple calculator app or generate high school revision. What's really great about this is you can also ask, help me generate ideas for a capstone project related to work in process. Please keep in mind, you're a beginner as well, right? I'm a beginner in AI. I want to use Python. And I want the code very simple.
So in AI Studio, you get the most updated Gemini version, which is why you're recommending us to use this instead of
Correct.
Gemini itself, right?
Correct. It's funny. Although I have the other Gemini, I get it free because I pay for like the Google Drive space and everything like that. They give you, they throw Gemini in. I actually use AI
Oh,
Studio more because I find it to be a little bit more, but bit smarter. And you can see here, there's a lot more controls you can add to your model when you go through this. But we'll go through what those are later on classes. But this is a reasoning model. So this is where you can see some thinking happening. And that's what it says. Thinking in terms of LLM is actually breaking things down step by step. We'll go through that next class about how these models are able to break down, we call this chain of thoughts, and be able to get better results. So you can see here that the model will start breaking out different ideas of what this means. So it didn't really understand what AI is, right? So it's giving me a bunch of ML projects, machine learning projects, because AI, like I said before in the first class, AI is huge. So I can go back and iterate and say, actually, I meant using Gen AI, and I want to use the Gemini API key to do this. So here you can always brainstorm some quick ideas. And what's really crazy is that this one actually doesn't have here, but you can use this to brainstorm. And then if you have access to Gemini, they have a canvas button where you can then bring your code over there and have it run to see how it looks like on that side. But you also can copy this to Google Colab, right? Um, so AI powered data cleaner and standardizer. So fixing ways that companies' names and countries are written. So it gives you one example how to run that. Automated customer feedback analyzer. A company has hundreds of customer reviews or server reviews, when it's time to read them all, and how to clean them as well, right? So you can tell Gemini to create a CSV with this information, and you can load that and then review it yourself. The whole point of the capstone project is not to make something fancy, not to have something huge, but how can you solve something that's really important to you and you feel like you're actually using AI to do this, right? And that's really the whole point of the capstone project is for you to think and evaluate this. So again, what's really cool about this as well is it gives you the code right away here that you can play around with. Sometimes the code might be very big, but this is where I put very simple code and how straightforward the guys they can be, right? And then what it does when I say that is it gives you it has different constants here. Like I like the code you did, but can you put more comments on what each line does? So when we do this, although you may not understand all the code that it has, putting the comments on each code will walk you step by step how that code is. It's going to think and be able to break that down for you. It's detailing the sections.
I can see the token count you told in the last class. So this is the
Yes,
max you can like allow.
exactly. And what you'll notice too is that because we're having a history conversation, the tokens will multiply. So it's not like, oh, I asked one question once, I used 5 tokens and I'm good. Because you're constantly asking more questions, you're creating a snowball technique in which the tokens will keep adding and adding and adding. This is why when you talk to ChatGPT, Claude for a long time in one conversation, sometimes after a while, it gets very boggy. It can't move that much or can't understand that much. So this is where you have to understand that, oh, you can only talk to a certain piece because the models can only take so much tokens at the same time to understand everything. So now it has a lot of comments and it tells exactly what's happening. So you simply grab this code and now that you have it, you can go to Google Colab, Google Colab, so you're gonna Colab. Your notebook. And then you can now paste your code that you got. And you could try running this. So of course, there's a lot of green text. That means these are commented out. That means these won't be the ones that you'd be reviewing. But what this will give you is a quick glimpse of what's happening here. So example, import Panda. So what is this? Panda library is the most popular tool in Python for working with data tables like spreadsheets. This is why we imported. Why we had to import this, import the OS, import JSON, try this, etc., what the value is, and understanding that, right? So and what's really important when you do this well is also you need to enable your Gemini API key, or else you need to have that in, or else it won't be able to run your file on your secret. So once you have that set up, you can simply click run, see what happens. Okay, so I need to put this here. So it's telling me that I need to change the API key, which is fine. Because I called mine Gemini API key, not Google Gemini key. So I have to just change this to Gemini. Because over here, that's why I called it here. It needs to have that key. So in my environment, it says you need to get that key. Make sure to have that there. So let's rerun that. So you can see here it's running. So what's going to do is look at what this quick function gave is that we're importing the packages. We're trying to get the Gemini key, which it probably has found because we got no error so far. And we're creating a function or prompt to do the analysis. So the function takes a symbol, a piece of text, a custom review, sends it to Gemini API, and returns a structured analysis. And here's what we're telling the model to do. Analyze the customer feedback, provide your analysis in a JSON format with 3 keys, either positive, negative, or neutral, and the categories of what it needs to be, either pricing, customer service, product quality, other, and a summary, a one-sentence summary of the feedback. So we're trying to really understand more analysis of each things. And we're going to review that text. So that's going to tell you how it's doing it. This is, again, what I really like about this, because you're telling it to be very detailed, is load your data. For example, we create a small data set in the code using a dictionary. It creates one for you already. So if you have something you want to use, you just tell Gemini, hey, I already have a file. This is how it looks like. How would I use it? It will change this part for you. Tell you to run this. And then we'll run from there. So this is old information, so we can clear this. And we're still waiting for it to run. So we'll wait for that to happen. And then because it's been a while since I've used Gemini, I forget maybe sometimes because it is free, there is some times that you have to wait for it to run. But we can go from there. But yeah, that's pretty much an example how you can run this capstone. I know we just jumped 4 weeks of class, but I'm just showing you how really simple you can go into just using something in AI Studio and build something very simple really fast and be able to start thinking about generating ideas for your capstone project. And you don't have to know the code 100%, right? And if you run into issues running your code, um, feel free to message the group, come here during the office hours and say, hey, Luis, I tried running this. I made my own file, I made my own Excel file, but I'm still not getting the results I'm getting. What can we do to better this? This is where then you go and we can work in troubleshoot during the office hours and try to get your project up and running.
Cool. Thank you.
So that should be a good head start.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about AI Studio? AI Studio is actually pretty powerful. I'm not sure if you guys have here. You can stream things. You can talk, webcam, screen share. You can generate media, generate images, build. You can build SDKs, you can build apps all through here. And again, you're not paying through any of this. Google is offering this for people to explore this side. So there's a lot of things to go in here. I think it's really powerful. You can also compare different models when you have conversations. So example, you want to try to compare two different models at the same time, and we'll talk about what the different models are. 2.0 Flash is their fastest model in terms of generating code, versus Gemini 2.5 is their most thinking model. So I can write a prompt saying, create me a code to analyze marketing reviews with sentiment in Python for Google Colab. And then I can quickly click run. And you can see here on Gemini Flash how fast it's able to create the data and look at it and be able to understand it. Meanwhile, on the right side, it's thinking a bit more about what should be happening, right? It's breaking things down to steps. If you look down here, we can see that it's thinking, it's breaking down to different steps based on what it has, and then it's doing its output. So if you start comparing the code that it came out, it's saying, we see that it's actually using another sentiment to use. It's going to use something called Vader sentiment to do sentiment analysis. On the left side here, we don't see anything about sentiment analysis. So as much as Gemini 2.0 Flash was going good, it didn't really think about what other things you should have. And you can still hear, so you can see here on the thought process of Gemini 2.5 preview of why it decided to choose different packages versus the other ones as well. So this is a really cool part about Gemini Studio. So you can really compare how different models work and think. Reasoning models are more powerful because they break things out step by step, but they're sometimes overkill for something simple, right? It's like using a Ferrari to go to CVS and pick up some milk, some milk, right? You can use a Ferrari to go and pick up some milk, but the gas, thinking about people scratching your car and really the worthwhile of doing it versus you can go in a normal car and it's do the same thing, and just as efficient, and that's where 2.0 Flash is, right? So you could still get there from A to B, but when would you need a Ferrari is when you need to go faster, right? And you need something more accurate, you need something to be better. The difference of why you wouldn't use 2.5 Pro versus Flash all the time is the cost. And you can see here that it's 10 cents for 1 million inputs. So that's a lot of input for only 10 cents. Meanwhile, if I go to 2.5, it's a $1.25 for 200, only 200,000 tokens. So you can see that I times that by 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. $7 or something like that just for the input, and then you have to pay for the output, right? So it could be up to $70 with Gemini 2.5 Flash to do something versus it could be literally $2 or $1.50 for the same results using Gemini Flash, right? We get down to that during week 3 of when to use certain models and there's what's the API costing of is and when you do something in production, when using LLMs, um, if you don't have the proper um, the requirements on your computer to run your local LLM, someone else is running up, right? So it's either OpenAI, Gemini, whatever, or Claude, whatever it is. You're using their servers, you're using their computers, you're using their RAM, right? So they have to charge you a cost every single time you ask a question to these LLMs, and that's the cost that when you go in production, you have to account for and ensure that people aren't abusing the model that you're using and ensuring you have the right guardrails in place. But yeah, Gemini is a really great tool for that. Let's see if, oh, it's still running this side. Let me see here.
I think it's
Okay, Google Cloud doesn't work for me today. See if I change the model to Gemini Flash, if it becomes faster. So what you can do here is when you want to try different models in your in Google Colab, you just click on chat. And let's say I want to use flashlight. So I click, I highlight what this model is. I go back to my Google Colab. And then I just change where it's asking which model I want to use for this. But on my Google Colab looks completely different right now. I don't know why I don't have the file, the tabs. Let's see. There we go. There's one way to stop. So instead of using Gemini Pro, I'm going to use Gemini 2.0 flashlight. And that's right. And if you miss where I copy that from here. Let's connect again.
so instead of importing every time the pandas, and also is there any way we can in the collab we can already store that, right? So that these things usually prefer importing, it takes long time, I guess, right?
Well, importing because it's Google Colab, everything that you run will be deleted after 60 minutes. So because it's a free service, everything that you do will have to be that. What you don't have to do is you don't have to do a pip install. Like you don't have to install packages in Google Colab. What the good thing about this is it already comes with pre-installed packages. So when you comes with the pre-installed packages, you don't have to worry about installing pandas every single time or installing the Google ones they have because it should be already good to go.
Yeah.
So you always have to import which packages you want to use for this. It's saying not finding my default API key. It's fine. Let's enable this one. I think there's a lot of people using Colab right now. Let's see. Sometimes I used Google Colab in the past if I didn't have any, when I was fine-tuning larger models and I didn't have enough space on my computer. There are options to purchase more compute and RAM. So example, when I click on connect to hosted runtime, click change run type, you can see there's A100s, there's bigger GPUs, different things you can use to premium, right? So you can always choose which one you want to use, and once you pay for a higher setting, it lets you use this, and it'll say you have 60 units to use for a L4 GPU, and then you'll be able to run your own local models on your Google Colab. So that it's definitely a way out if you don't have a really strong computer. You have to go out and spend $10,000 on your computer. Google Collab was really cheap. I think the Pro version's like $10, 12 to 12, 10, $15 a month. So that really saves you the cost of doing something locally, well, virtually versus something locally.
So Luis, if we want to do this on our local computer Mac, so we have to copy this code as a Python file and execute.
Yes, you just have to make sure on your secrets you have something that's called the API environment key.
Okay, that one we can put in dot bash file and then execute, right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's open a new file. Let's see if it connects quicker. Okay, that one works. Go call equal API key. I think I may have to put this at the top. So everyone's using Google Colab right now at this time. It's usually way faster than this.
Maybe it is telling you, Louis, that this is supposed to be a different class, not right now in our office hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I'm just showing you how you would just import that in and run it. I just wanted to see if I can get this quickly running in 2 seconds, but it seems that, yeah, let's try this one time. I'll try this last time. If this one doesn't work, then yeah, it's won't let us run this time, but it's fine. All right, so there's a lot of advanced things that we went through today. Definitely wasn't prepared to go with this, but I just want to show you how quickly you can run something up, brainstorm, grab the code, start running it in Google Colab to get something up and running and view it. You might run into some times that Google Colab, like today, might have some issues where it's running really slow. But I'll leave it for a little bit, come back to it, and then definitely it. And you can't really do too much because it is a free service. And if you want something that's always fast and stuff like that, they obviously they push you to pay for that the premium service. But I don't think it's necessary for the course for you to pay for that. Again, you're just showing examples of running the code and going from there. And the other alternative is running it locally on your local computer, right? And go from there from that side.
Louis, I have a quick question. So this is something that this is in my work. So right now we have a Splunk integration to Slack, and we have we have some alerts that are generated every day, and there are like huge number of alerts that are coming up. So I wanted to come up with a kind of a chatbot or something like that, which can analyze all the alerts and come up with some pattern as to what's happening and something like that. So, uh, does Slack or Splunk support any? Do they have an LLM model that I can use directly to use it, or what would be the best course of action here? I know that we need to provide the permissions for it to read through the channels in Slack, but I don't know how to do that right now. Do we have any suggestions?
Yeah, so um, you would have to, so example, like everything that comes in, um, I'm trying to think of something quick that you could do. So the best way of looking at what's the top majority and top things coming in, um, I would definitely because of how like you're probably getting hundred are you getting like how much is the volume like
Oh, it's like huge. So sometimes it is more than, I think every couple of hours we definitely get more than 1,000 alerts. Different ones
yeah
which
it's
can be like some are just warnings, some of them are errors that needs to be looked into. There are different channels, so the number of channels is huge. We have around close to 12 different channels that we need to monitor because of different cases, different like channels and all that. So yeah, that's where we are having challenge to monitor, and somebody who is on call doesn't like going through all those messages is huge burden right now. So I was
yeah
wondering if we can do something there.
Yeah,
yeah
so
so I'm
typically what we do is, I mean, you cut it, whoever is generating Slack itself, right? So you can provide more information. All that can be given to LLM and reduce the noise there. I mean, that's a typical suggested approach rather than give it to Slack and then take it from Slack.
Okay.
yeah I remember doing one project for a customer we're currently working on them themselves and they weren't using alerts they're using logs and they're getting tons of logs coming in and they want to do a log analyzer and it's thousands of data so they want to see which logs need the most priority which logs need to be the ones that have critical issues things like that as well so what we suggested for them to do is to sort of grab 15 to 20% of the top alerts that they know for sure then and train a model on those top 15 to 20% alerts that they know that could be happening. What's going to happen is that these different alerts coming in through the re-alerts or logs, they need to be identified which ones need to be escalated, which ones don't need to be escalated. And there needs to be some
Right.
sort of pattern for it to learn. So when something comes in, you have a classifier. So this classifier is could be an LLM, could be through another way as well that when an alert comes in, it has to pass. You can't do it inside Slack itself. You'll have to use a payload, like the raw logs or the metadata coming from Slack or something like that that sends something out. Then this raw logs and metadata gets classified with this LLM. LLM will
Mhm.
then classify it and then determine based off the level of information if it needs to be escalated or not. So then you can send it say if it needs to be escalated, then can send alert inside Slack to whoever the admin is saying someone received the critical alert error on here and here's the log information that way. So you need to create a classification system for your alerts.
Got it. Got it. Understood. Yeah, I'm thinking of working on this one. Sure, I'll reach out to you if I have more questions on this one. Looks
Yeah.
complicated, but yeah, I think this is something will definitely help us in the long run.
Well, for your capstone project, you don't have to do like Slack integrations, but you can do is create synthetic data of how the Slack alerts look like,
Uh-huh.
and then you can train a classify and like an LLM to classify what the synthetic data what it needs to do, and then you can see how that workflow works.
Sure. Yeah, I think yeah, we'll work on that. Thanks,
Okay,
Liz.
I think we hit the hour. Is any last minute questions I know we talked about a lot of things. I think Vijay's having a party right now, so. All right. Thank you everyone for joining the office hours today. We'll be continuing week 2 this week. So we'll be finishing up the second half of what we learned from week 1, and then we're getting into week 2 information, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'll catch you all later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Louis. Thanks for joining the call. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll meet again on Saturday, 8 a.m. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.